Hi guys, I'm Sandeep. I'm the head of creative media at FoneArena and I'm based out of Bangalore. I use a Google Pixel XL as my main smartphone, and I also carry a bunch of other smartphones as my review devices currently, including the G6, P10 as well as Mate 9. So here are a list of 5 apps that I consider to be the most useful or the most unique in terms of usability. So let's get started. The first app on my list is Carango. So this is an app that's probably a bit different and not something that every one of you would like to use, but I personally love it because it helps me keep track of my car's expenses as well as the way that I use my car as well as the maintenance. So for example, you can add all your fuel related bills, your insurance bills, you can even set reminders on when your next service is due. You can also manage to add more than one car or more than one vehicle. You can even add your bike, for example. So I think most of you might have bikes or even cars, and then you can add both of them or as many as you want into this app, and you can keep a list or a tab of all your expenses related to your car and make sure that everything is up to date. It even gives you a summary of all the expenses that you've paid. So for example, it'll show you how much money you've spent on fuel, for example, over a certain duration, and that'll help you understand the running costs of your particular vehicle, etc. So the Carango app is actually available in both free version and a paid version. I have the paid version because it allows online backups. So for me, I'm constantly shifting devices, moving from one device to the other. So making a local backup and then copying it is not always the easiest solution. So Carango Pro allows me to have online backups, and all I have to do is enter the particular customer ID and I'll be able to get my backup from one phone to the other. It's not an automatic sync, but at least I can do it manually, and it's easier than copying over a file over a USB connection. The second app on my list is Splitwise. So this is a really unique app that also helps you keep track of expenses, but not related to cars or anything vehicle related. Anything expenses, you can actually put it in Splitwise app. And for example, we are here during MWC 2017 and we're keeping track of all our expenses. It may be not to keep a tab on who owes whom, but moreover to know just how much you're spending during a particular trip and keeping track of all your bills. For example, keeping a physical copy of all the bills is kind of annoying at the end of the day and just adds to more junk that you have to carry back to your country. For example, Splitwise allows you to take a photo or a scanned copy of that particular bill and add it to a particular expense. And you can also say that a person paid a certain amount and the other person owes him this much. And it can even do a lot of math for you and simplify it. For example, at the end of the month, it gives you a summary and you'll know how much you owe or how much you have to get from a particular person. So this is a great app that I use not just in my professional life, but even personal life as well. And number 3 is PlayMemories Mobile. This is actually an app by Sony themselves. It comes free of cost and is available on the Android Play Store. So this is something that I use in order to control my Sony Alpha 7R2 camera. It allows remote control, and you can even send photos or videos from your camera to your smartphone, and it works really well. For example, if I'm shooting alone, this allows me to get a greater degree of flexibility while shooting, and I can pull off shots that I might not be able to do on my own if I didn't have this app. So it also has a viewfinder in it. So for example, I can set it behind me and still know how the image is actually coming up without having to look at the LCD screen on the display of the camera itself. So that way, the PlayMemories Mobile is a unique app, and I really like how Sony has integrated it. It didn't have support for Android 7.0 Nougat initially, but now it does have that, and they're slowly improving on the feature set that the app allows as well. And number 4 is XC currency converter. So I think most of us would probably use this on a daily basis, especially converting the price of gadgets from USD to INR or vice versa. And I personally use it especially when traveling. For example, we are here in Spain, and although you know what the rough amount is in terms of the conversion rate, you can't be sure of exactly how much it'll be. And also sometimes it just gets a bit difficult to sit and do the math when you're on the go. You might have a billion things on your mind, and actually having an app that does the calculation for you makes things a lot easier and also makes it stress-free and more accurate. So that's why I use the XC currency converter, and it gives you the latest real-time updates as well, and you can add up to 10 different currencies, which also helps. For example, if I want to know if I have US dollars and euros with me, I want to know what should I use to pay what. This helps for that as well. The last and final update is probably VSCO or Visco Cam as some people call it. This is a photo editing app. I also use Photoshop Express, but Visco is probably my go-to app because it's a bit more easier to do on the go. Photoshop Express gives you greater degree of flexibility in terms of the image tweaking and adjustments, but Visco does that for you using the presets. There are quite a lot of presets that you can actually download through the app, some of which are paid, but the good thing is that all of them work really well and can be used in different situations. You also have some of the imaging adjustments such as contrast, saturation, shadows, highlights, etc. But most of the time, applying a filter alone should give you kind of the result that you want. So Visco also has their own online community of photos. I don't really use that. What I use it mainly for is just to edit the images before pushing it out on social media, be it Instagram, Facebook, etc. And a lot of people have asked me what sort of image editing software I use. So it's mainly Photoshop and Visco, but I would use Visco say 90% of the time and Photoshop maybe the other 10, or sometimes a combination of both as well. So that was a list of my top 5 apps that I use with my Android smartphone. If you have any questions about any of these apps or have some suggestions of yourself, if you feel that some of these apps that I'm using are not the best that I can get, let me know in the comment section below, and see you in the next video.